So let me discuss why society has adopted a new law for the sale of goods to replace the common law. For the past 700 to 800 years, through our English American history, judges have fashioned common law for the judges, not for others, not for the merchants. That's not bad, but if a party sues another in a contractual dispute, the judge, who looks to precedent, wants to make sure that before she gets involved in their dispute, before she enforces one side or the other with a judgment, that all parts of the contract represent a true meeting of the minds. For instance, the judge does not want to enforce a vague contract. Well, like a linebacker in American football, the judge may not want to pick up that ball or contract and run it out if it has deficiencies. Thus, the judges will slow down commerce and the delivery of goods. Thus, the economy can stall with common law doctrine. As sales of goods over the last 100 years have been complicated and more rapid, the legislatures listened to merchants who sell those goods and said, we can make your law better. So we've designed a uniform law of commerce that's shared across all 50 jurisdictions, and even in some cases worldwide, to better enable merchants across all the areas move their commerce. Thus, if a contract contains a vague clause, the UCC will attempt to keep that contract alive if there is a way, unlike the common law, which will not enforce it. So before we go further, let me give you an important study technique which prior students have told me helps them study best. When you read the UCC, for instance, Article 2-204, read it twice. The book gives you Article 2 in details, sort of a microscopic view, but if you read it a second time in the original source, you begin to see more. So go online, type in Article 2-204, for instance, and you'll find it immediately. In fact, here it should come up as the Washington version of the Uniform Commercial Code. Read the UCC twice, then, from the book and from the original source, to see how it applies or fits in that context. Look for a section's relation to the other articles. In other words, study the forest and study the tree. First, slide 4 references the definition of goods. A, quote, goods can be severed by the seller. And here's an example. First, I'll give you the scenario I've chosen. If you have standing timber in Washington, how would the contract look? What form would it take? Would it be like a formal deed? Or would it be like a bill of sale, perhaps like the one given to you at a high-end bike store? Because the standing timber is still standing, uncut and unmoved, the transition from seller to buyer would be in the form of something very formal. Indeed, in Washington state, it would be recorded like a deed. It would not be like a simple bill of sale. Here's a second scenario. Take that scenario, and let's say the standing timber has been cut but left on the back of a triaxle log truck. What form would that sale take? Indeed, that sale would probably look more like a sales receipt in purchasing an expensive bike. It would not be as formal, such as a deed would be. Another scenario, if the standing timber has fallen in a windstorm and the seller wishes to sell them in that condition, what form would that sale look like? What would the law require to establish a contract? Which law would we follow, common law or the UCC? Well, because the seller is using nature, the nature has made the timber fall. He's using the effect of the windstorm, in other words. The seller then has chosen to move the items. He says, I'll leave them severed and I will move them, or I'll let them lie fallow, and the buyer can pick them up. So the seller has adopted what nature has provided, and so indeed, even though it's not the seller who directly cut the trees, as in scenario 2, it's nonetheless the seller's wishes that they be movable. That's how the UCC would define what a goods are. So scenario 1 would fall under common law, and scenarios 2 and 3 under the Uniform Commercial Code. It is important to understand which law applies to determine what rights you may have. Now take a look around your room. Take a look at where you are sitting and think of all the things that came off the store shelf. These are probably all goods. Think of all the things that you assembled from the store. They are also goods, from furniture to rugs to paint on the wall to eyeglasses, anything like that. They all come from the sale of goods. And which law controlled the transaction? Not common law, the Uniform Commercial Code.